What's going on, YouTube? This is Jonathan, and today I wanted to take a look at some allied strategies in Axis and Allies Revised. Now, the Soviet Union, we'll start there, they're the first player to take a turn, is going to be focused heavily on Germany. Now, they might shift a few more units or a few fewer units over here to Japan. They might move a couple infantry into Xinjiang to help that front. That's something that I like to do. That way it slows Japan down a little bit trying to come in here and hit you from the other side. But you're predominantly going to be focused on Germany. And we talked about what you might want to do specifically during the Soviet-German border video, so I won't get too far into that. But it's important that all of the allies coordinate. It's more important for them than for the Axis powers. Because, yes, they have more production overall, but it's split between 3 different countries, whereas the Axis powers are more concentrated and they're more separate in what they can do. So it's important for them to know the general strategy, the general idea of what their ally is going to do, but it isn't as important when coordinating specific troop movements like it is for the Allies. The Soviets don't really have any navy aside from that sub, and they're probably not going to get any navy throughout the game, so they don't need to get too involved in the naval situation over here. But it's critical, especially early in the game, for England and the US to coordinate. Typically, I see that happen by them both moving their fleets down here while they build larger surface fleets out of the range of enemy planes. Usually for England that's up here, and for the US, of course, that's over here on the east coast. It's very important that they coordinate, otherwise Germany will take out their individual smaller fleets piecemeal without too much difficulty, without suffering too many casualties. Now typically, as the game goes on, the Soviets are going to need additional assistance. It's a good idea for England to coordinate, especially when it comes to that. Typically, they'll take out Norway, start shoveling guys into the north here, so that the Soviets can focus where they are more situated down south. They've got the dual factories here, and West Russia is a perfect location to counterattack. It on its own can hit every border territory along there. So that's a perfect territory for the Russians to have. It helps them a lot when they have it, and as a result of that and these factories, they're going to tend to focus down here. So if England can take pressure off up here, that is excellent. Moving south a little bit, not only is it important for the Allies to coordinate their navies over here, the US and England, but the US can help liberate Africa. Yes, it's British territories, but if Germany gets it uncontested and holds on to it, England is going to be in a lot of trouble. And so if the US can come in and secure that, that helps England out a lot, which in turn helps all the Allies out a lot. Now, I don't have as much to say about Japan over here. Typically, the US, unless England goes risky and builds a factory in India on the first turn, which of course would change a whole lot up here in the Atlantic, I don't really recommend the factory approach, but I've seen it done. But assuming that England doesn't do that, the only country that can really directly have a strategy against Japan that lasts more than the first turn or so is the United States. If the US decides to do that, it's even more important that the Soviet Union and England coordinate, because they alone, or maybe with minimal American support, are going to have to take on Germany. So I don't recommend it, but it's something the US might want to do. And if they do that, they aren't really going to be coordinating with anybody over here. It's pretty much going to be a them against Japan. So it'll be important that the other allies can hold on. If there's anything that they need from the US that requires just rudimentary, basic forces, the US is going to want to provide that. If it's sending the rest of its might over here against Japan. So again, coordination is very important. The U.S. is probably going to want to make a push as soon as possible up here in the north to try and help out the Soviet Union in some fashion, even if it's not helping with the war against Germany. Hopefully it can at least do that and secure those and either threaten Japan directly or threaten Manchuria down here or start moving over here to fortify the Russian eastern flank. But it's really important, as I said in the Axis strategy video, that Russia not fall from the Allies' perspective. At least at a minimum, if it has to fall, you want to be within a turn of successfully taking one of the Axis capitals. If you can't do that, the game is pretty much over. So you want to keep Russia in the game as the United States while you build up to go against Japan, if that's the strategy you want to pursue. Again, my recommendation is to apply minimal forces over here, maybe do a little bit of island hopping, but just keep your navy away from the massive Japanese navy, and just be on the lookout for them if they try to do something annoying like take Alaska or Hawaii. Nothing that you need to freak out over, but you do want to be on the lookout for that so they can't sneak in on the next turn to take Western United States or something like that. I definitely recommend focusing heavily on Germany otherwise, coordinating the navies between the United Kingdom and the United States, coordinating the Eastern Front between England and the Soviet Union over here, and then at the same time, England's navy hopefully will be in a position to threaten the north coast, and the American navy will be in a position to threaten the Mediterranean coast and have already secured Africa. Because the more territories you force Germany to defend, the more it's going to have to distribute its forces, the less it'll be able to send against the Soviets, which helps secure them, and the easier it'll be for England and or the United States to hit a weak point. And even if it's just trading territories, again, it's that forces Germany to pull units away from the Eastern Front over to, say, Western Europe or Southern Europe to try and take those back. So that's what you want to do as the Allies, and slow down Japan as much as you reasonably can while doing that. Probably not going to be able to devote a whole lot of forces to that task, but again, if you can, throw a few infantry here or secure a border up here, or something like, or keep them from moving into Australia, so England has more production to devote to taking out Germany, that's definitely what you want to do as the Allies. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Those are just some brief overviews. Of course, a lot more time could be spent on each side strategy and each country's strategy, but I don't want this video to get too long. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, things you'd like me to look at or consider, please leave a comment in the comment section about that also. And I hope you enjoyed this video.